Right. Well, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Rona Williams, Associate Director at Faith Learn Thrive, and we're joined today by our director and our partners at Ministry Incubators for a special webinar preview of our upcoming Innovation Lab. And we hope that you all will consider applying to Innovation Lab. This is going to be an amazing experience for you and for your church leaders. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Howell and allow him to introduce himself and the team for MI to introduce themselves, and then we can get started.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Williams, and everyone. It's great to see you today. And again, thank you for joining us on this journey for Faith, Learn, Thrive. As Dr. Williams highlighted, we're preparing for our next ministry lab relative to innovation in the church. Maybe you've had an idea about how can we get this off the ground, or you've been working with your team and looking at innovative ministry ideas and ways to make a difference in your congregation and the community. And this experience would help you with that. We have done this previously with Ministry Incubators. This will be our second time around. So we really look forward to working with you and invite you to be part of this as you consider ways that you can continue to build a stronger church and help your congregation to thrive. So again, as Director of Faith, Learn, Thrive, I want to welcome you again.
Wonderful. Should we jump in and introduce ourselves, Dr. Howell?
Please.
Hi, my name is Kat Baer. I'm a consultant project manager with Ministry Incubators. I'm so excited to be one of the team for this project. Kerwin and I have loved getting to work with Hood Theological Seminary so far, and are excited to continue our partnership. If you're watching this back in the recording, this is Violet, my daughter. She will probably not be joining us for the cohort, but she's here for the moment. So I apologize for any baby noises that come over it. Kerwin, I'll let you jump in.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kerwin Webb. I am a project manager and coach with Ministry Incubators. And the first round with Hood Seminary was very exciting and engaging. And this time around, we look to do more and even better, because we have gotten better as we reviewed what went on and refined our steps. So I'm really excited for this next cohort.
Great. And welcome, Rick. Glad you're joining us. And welcome to, should we just have Frederick and Rick introduce themselves too, since we're kind of a small?
I think so.
I would love that. Hi.
Hello. So my name is Fred Kennedy Kelderman. I am a second-year student at Hood Theological, working on my MDiv and looking to learn more about Faith, Learn, Thrive and the upcoming cohort.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Awesome.
Fred, are you in the cohort? You're going to be in the next one?
I am thinking about
Fair.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking we might walk through a little bit of kind of what the outline of the cohort looks like and what people can expect from it, as well as share some of our experiences from the first time around. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Kerwin, do you have the outline up? Do you want me to pull it up?
If you could pull it up, I have it, the back end that's not pretty looking.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, great.
I'll talk us through as you pull it up. Basically, the cohorts run weekly, and this one we're going to be on Wednesday evenings, Eastern time, beginning at 7 p.m. I believe. Is that right? Yep, 7 to 8 p.m. is the time that we set, beginning on April the 12th and going all the way through. The last one is May the 31st. And so that's the window for this, Wednesdays once a week. And after the introductory one on the 12th, each week there'll be a video that kind of goes over the particular component of innovation. There'll be some homework to help you start to begin to do, get your feet wet with doing the work so you can ask questions at the next one. And then we meet back up to talk about, hey, what did we learn, what worked, what didn't? And then we work together as a group to try to troubleshoot any problems and support each other as we go along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kerwin answered probably the most important question to start off with what is the cohort, the Innovation Lab cohort? And I want to take a quick second also to address before we get into the specifics of who is it for. We had a great diverse group of people in the first iteration. We had lay leaders, we had clergy, we had Lutherans, and we had AME churches, and we had Pentecostal churches, and we had people, basically they were all church leaders trying to take on some kind of project like Dr. Howell was talking about that would change their community for the better. Some of these projects were a $50,000 fundraising campaign to fix a church roof, and some were an international network of immersive learning communities. And some were community driven, and some were mission driven, some were local, some were global. And so the scale and the scope of the project, as well as how far along you are already in the project, doesn't affect your capacity to engage with this cohort, as well as whatever your role is at the church. We loved working with lay leaders. We loved working with ordained clergy. So this cohort is really for anyone who is trying to do something new inside a church context, or even a faith-driven context. I believe KIA isn't a congregational church specifically, but with more of a community of faith leaders as far as I recall. Yeah, bye. And so if you are someone trying to start something new, be it a women's conference or a giant nonprofit or big or small, this is a great community of learning and of being together for that type of thing. I was going to give a quick preview of, yeah, go ahead, Kerwin.
Yeah, let me add, one of the beautiful things that came out of the diversity of the cohort, the last one, was when we are in a certain environment for so long, we begin to think in terms of that environment only. And having someone from outside of that to hear the same thing you're looking at, they're able to come up with different ideas and possibilities that makes the conversation richer. And so that's why the diversity is good. And even if it's like, well, I don't know anything about those things, but you know about processes, you know about implementation. And so that's kind of some of the richness that came out of the last one.
Yeah, for sure. I was just reflecting on it, and truly part of the reason that it's in the format that it's in is as a cohort is because we have this great curriculum. It's a video series where you can learn all these different things, but the cohort is really vital because so much of the most important learning actually comes from leaders engaging with each other. It's asking questions like, how do you get a church leadership on board? How do you get a person on your team who seems to shoot down every single idea? How do you win them over? Those kind of conversations are not in our specific curriculum, but they're so vital into helping innovators understand each other. I think people who are innovative in the institutional church context can sometimes feel a bit like an island, that they're fighting uphill, fighting upstream. And this cohort helps give participants that sense that they are not in the battle alone. Violet agrees. She has a lot of opinions on this. Okay, I'm going to show Kerwin. I've got one of the PDFs pulled up for what those look like. So I thought that'd be good to show. Do I have screen sharing permissions? Dr. Williams, Dr. Howell?
It is on the way.
Is on the way. Okay, great.
Hey, Frederick, any questions thus far as we're getting to that?
So
Yeah,
far,
I'm going to get to ask live questions.
Pat, you should have permission. Okay.
Okay, so we use the Ministry Incubator's starter suite, which is, or Kat, were you going to go through this or you want me to?
Kerwin, you're welcome to go through it. Violet's a little chatty, so you might be you know it as well as I do, but I'll just keep it shared for you.
Okay, yeah, scroll down. So we use this and we start with the secrets to a great launch. No matter what your ministry innovation project is, there are certain things that are going to need to be in place foundationally for you to be successful. And so this is the basic concept that we go through with the Secrets to the Great Launch. And this is from Ministry Incubator's nearly 10-year history of helping launch innovative ministries. And so it's been refined and updated. Keep scrolling down, Kat, thanks. It's going to ask you certain questions because a lot of times we'll have a ministry idea and we don't have a checklist in our mind to go through, but this tool helps you. Who is your promotional team? When do you want to launch? What is success? All of these things that ask you to define out front so that you'll know whether or not you're hitting those goals. Make participation obvious. Let the next steps be obvious to people. You don't want your congregation or those you're working with to wonder, what do we do after this? So you want to be clear about how that goes, how to participate, what the expectations are. It's the little things that we don't generally think about, except when we're in a moment and it's like, wait, I should probably know this, yet I don't. So that's where we begin. We begin with, hey, what is a great launch? Then the next one is multiple revenue streams, right? Because you're going to need revenue to help a ministry project continue to thrive. And I think in the last cohort, one of the participants was extremely excited about the different ways that were suggested as possibilities for multiple revenue streams.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kat.
You're totally right, Kerwin. So this one, it's actually a 2-session and multiple revenue streams. And it's kind of unintuitive to people who function as church leaders to be having this kind of session. It sounds sort of MBA class and not, church gathering. But one of the things that people came out of these sessions feeling really empowered by was that one of the things that's highlighted in the videos is that you have way more resources available at your disposal as a church leader than you may realize, because revenue streams, resources that we're talking about are often income, financial income, but it's also what is your, what people do you have available to you? What social capital do you have available to you? What space do you have available to you? And these videos and the accompanying worksheets and homework that go along with it really help church leaders identify all the resources they already have available to them and understand what utilizing those resources well could look like. So as much as I know for me, I had a career as a youth pastor before I started doing this, when I look at multiple revenue streams, I have kind of an eye roll, like, ugh, I'm a pastor. I don't want to talk about money. But our leaders actually found it. I mean, Dr. William, Dr. Hood, you'd have to, or Dr. Williams, Dr. Howell, you'll have to let us know if this is right, but it seemed like our participants actually found these sessions really empowering. And really, they walked away from them feeling like they were richer than they thought they were, which was really exciting.
Absolutely. And I think this is one of that particular session. Those 2 weeks are one of the more critical weeks for the church. And I think it really just challenged the way we consider finance in the church and how we fund vision, right? So it really turned that on its head and really opened our eyes to a lot of things that I don't think we even considered prior to this experience, as far as how do we fund what God has called us to do. And so I think that's really important. That was probably some of the most valuable content from this experience.
That's good feedback. After the revenue streams and that reshifting, then it's the healthy rhythms, because we know that missional innovators in institutional settings usually are outliers, and they are generally the ones that are trying to, push a boulder up a hill because people can't see the vision. And so it's really important that as you are a leader, that you cultivate for yourself and for your team healthy rhythms that allow you to do the planning and the implementation so that we don't run into burnout. The work that we do is so critical and important that there will always be more to do. And developing healthy rhythms for yourself, for your team, for your organization That's critically important. And that's what this session and the homework invites us into. One of the things that I've found helpful, and it's still sometimes difficult, is the idea of balcony time, the rhythmic week and balcony time. And so the way that it was explained to me is if you're working on the factory floor making widgets, you have a specific focus and goal. Every now and then, though, you have to become the business owner and come off of the factory floor and go up to the balcony and not just look at your workstation, but the entire operation. How is it working together? How is it functioning? How is it failing to function? And then putting in plans in place to correct those things that that aren't there. Many of us don't do that. We sort of kind of are the firefighter. We put out fires and that's the only look that we get. But we have to really be intentional once a week, once or twice a month to say, all right, for the next 2 weeks, these are the things that I want to work on. And then, so that's balcony time. And then the rhythmic week is actually planning those things out. You'll have a master to-do list that you'll find spaces to put so that everything that needs to be done is accounted for. Because if we are always operating in crisis mode or always going on 100, we're going to miss something. And so every now and then you have to take that time to go up to the top and say, all right, these things are working well. This needs some work. We need to stop this altogether. We have opportunities to start this over here. And believe me, in a faith-based nonprofit church context where resources are slim and people are even slimmer, it's hard to pull away.
Yeah.
But building it into your rhythm, into your schedule becomes important because you find those efficiencies that you otherwise would not see.
Yeah, and I think this session also highlights something that comes with the Innovators cohort, which is, like Kerwin mentioned, Ministry Incubators has about 10 years of helping people launch innovative projects. And it's also a bit of a sister organization to Ministry Architects, which has decades more of experience of helping churches and church leaders be the healthiest version of themselves. And as part of the Start Speed cohort, we're utilizing a lot of tools that have proven to be really useful for church leaders over decades with Ministry Architects and Ministry Incubators. And so the balcony time and rhythmic week elements of the healthy rhythms are tools that have proven to be really helpful for a lot of church leaders, and access to those tools and us teaching you how to use them is just part of what's included in the cohort. So that's one of the real advantages, is that you're getting this really specific targeted information about innovation and project launching, but you're also getting some of these kind of more general tools about what it means to be a strong leader in a church context.
Cool. After that, the next one is congregational readiness. These projects are not happening in a vacuum. These missional innovations are in concert and will impact other people. And therefore, getting the congregation ready for this process is important. I believe that this was one of the areas that the last cohort really appreciated, because as with the idea of fundraising for the roof, everyone knows that, hey, we need to, replace the roof, but getting the congregation on board to collectively at the same time move forward with a fundraiser was something that I believe the participant enjoyed being able to ask questions of the cohort members. Hey, how would you get people on board? How would you present it? What would you say? What would you ask? And so whatever the project is, there's an element of the leadership, the laity, and sometimes it's the adjudicatories or the governing bodies that you'll need to get on board and telling the same story, consistent story, preparing the congregation for what's coming, what's going to be expected, what's required, what things look like. These are important because we know change is difficult. And if change is difficult and complicated, that's probably a recipe for a quick, easy no. If, however, the change is accompanied by tools that can help find out if they're ready to innovate or how to move them along, then that may be an easier lift as opposed to just saying, yeah, we are doing this thing. This is how it's going to work. Get in line. No, it's one of those, all right, are we ready? Who are the people? Who are our influencers, right? Our key stakeholders that can help drive this for us. Those are all of the things. And then it gives you a description of what congregations are like and some of the challenges that we'll have if they aren't at a certain point on the innovation spectrum.
Yeah. Thanks, Kerwin. My husband just went and grabbed our daughter, so props to my husband for this one. The joys of working from home with no childcare. Okay, great. And then from there, the kind of last couple sessions are really about identifying what's going to take you from being ready to being successful. And so session 6 is based around what makes a good idea, kind of helping leaders both identify what's going to be the reason their idea works or doesn't. It's led by Carmel Boglin, who she's at, I think she right now is doing a project with Duke Divinity. She's brilliant and really excited to be able to share her wisdom as far as how you help make a good idea work, or even help identify what are the ideas worth investing our time and heart into in the first place. Yeah, this is one. And also this one helps you kind of identify what sort of stage your church is at with starting an innovation project. The stages identified are explorer, artist, and then warrior, and some other ones. And those stages really help you kind of understand where you are in this kind of timeline of launching an idea, which can be great. I'll pull up the last one really quick too, because I'm already on a roll. Finally, session 7 is called Herding Cats. And this one is just about identifying your volunteer teams, getting the right people in the right places, and helping you kind of both wrangle your own schedule and wrangle the people that you need to launch what you need to launch.
Yeah. Can I just add a comment from that one? I think from the last experience and really from other experiences too, one of the benefits of this is it's team focused. When we did it, the last group with ministry incubators, churches actually came in with teams of 3 or 4 people, and that's really an important component of this experience. And by having those teams working together, then that just really reinforces the importance of ministry as a team effort, and not necessarily feeling like you're a lone ranger.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Howell. Yes, this is meant to be done as teams. While we did have some solo innovators, I think our most powerful, our most effective teams are ones that could come in with 2 or 3 people that are all really committed to the same idea. So yeah, we'd love to answer any questions about the program. Well, Kerwin would love to answer any questions.
So how large was the last cohort?
I want to say there
We had 8 churches.
it was almost 20 people, I think, if
Yeah.
everybody showed up.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I think as Dr. Williams said, we had 8 churches, and each church was invited to bring in, I think, 3 team members.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I was still thinking back to one of the questions that was asked early on is how do we fund what God has called us to do? And I think that's very powerful. A lot of churches don't think about that.
Right.
They just want to go ahead and yes, we have a mission to do something, but how we're going to keep this thing going
Yeah.
over time.
Sustainability part of it. Yeah.
It's
Right.
good to get donations for up front to start something, but how do you keep it going when those folks are no longer around and congregation change?
And
And
there may
I'd
be
say
collaborators and partners within the community that support the effort and also contribute to the total, not only being team members, but also funding. I mean, there's grants as an example.
Yep. The thing that I'm not sure if it came out of the multiple revenue streams module, it may have, but just when you present your idea, the way that you present your idea can change the way that someone feels about donating to it or funding it. And so if you present it as, hey, we're raising money to do XYZ, all right, that has one effect. But if you tell a story about what we're doing and why and who it helps, and then you make the invitation, that's something different, right? And so in that last cohort, a lot of these things came out just in the conversations. Well, how do you say this? Well, maybe instead of saying, could you donate to this? Hey, we're doing this new innovative, blah, 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 and it's going to impact this amount of people. This is what it's going to cost. This is what we have. Could you contribute, right? And that is a different way to frame the same thing. But a lot of it was just coming out of, all right, I know what I want. This other person may be skeptical. Give me a skeptic's response and let me figure out a way to work through it. Like that's the kind of teamwork and collaboration that comes out of these.
The other thing I appreciated that you mentioned, Kerwin, is about the balcony. Because a lot of churches don't take time, but because things have been working so well for so long, they don't take time to take that larger look to see if something needs to be changed or done away with completely. So that's
right.
I love it.
Good. And so what we are looking to do is with the next group, just to bring them together, find the areas of synergy and help them launch or clarify, right? Even what they've already done in a way, in a collaborative environment where they can be supported by a group of people who are going through the same journey in different spaces. Dr. Howell, any takeaways aside from what you offered earlier for us or for the group that we are hoping to come?
I would say one of the key takeaways from this is another opportunity to think outside of the box. And I think with the program that we have, it allows us to think that when we do ministry, ministry is always creative. Ministry gives us the opportunity to look at all the knowledge that God gives us to do the things he calls us to do. And it doesn't have to be what we've always done. We have the opportunity in this kind of setting by participating in this type of ministry lab, we learn from each other. And I think that's a critical component to continually building ministry strategies, continually learning and sharing with the broader congregation. So I think that is so important. And this is a type of opportunity that we hope to give each of you as you join this journey with Faith Learn Thrive through this ministry lab and ministry incubators.
Thank you. Dr. Williams?
I think this experience overall challenges how we do church, right? And I think it's a perfect time to discover and learn a new way to move forward with our vision in our ministries. I think this program provides the context we need to see vision differently and to place a new model before not just our congregation, but also our community. A lot of churches are in flux. Some of us are experiencing identity crises. Some of us are becoming more clear about our mission in the world. And I think this is the perfect time to train your teams, to align your teams around a new way of doing ministry. And so I think it's one of the most valuable trainings because it is so practical. Innovation Lab is not a high-level aspirational picture, right? That's what you typically get from a leadership conference, or you go to this conference and they talk about how all the amazing things their church has done, and you see the final product and you walk away and you still don't know how to produce that at your church. You're still lost. You're still trying to figure out how do we make ours look like that? How do we do what they're doing? Innovation Lab is an opportunity to experience practical training, not high-level aspirational goals, but get in with the nuts and bolts and get your questions answered. An opportunity many times we don't have to do in a larger setting. So I think that is the overall value of this experience. And I encourage every church leader who watches this video to go over to our page and take a look at the Ministry Lab and apply for your church.
Thank you so much. We at Ministry Incubators definitely enjoy the partnership and look forward to continuing to help ministry leaders grow and thrive in their ministries in any way we can. And Dr. Williams, the last part you said was being able to ask the questions and getting your questions answered. You're so right. In those large conferences, you might get one question, but in these smaller cohorts, you get and the way that Kat and I facilitate the room is if the question and answer or the dialogue part needs to go longer, we can flex some things because we try to make sure that the participants get the best value out of what we have, not just we're trying to regurgitate some information for you. So I'm looking forward to the beginning in April. It's a couple of weeks away. Looking forward to it. And I hope that we are able to launch some great ideas in ministry innovations.
Absolutely. I agree with Kerwin. We're so excited to be able to continue to partner with you all in this project and create opportunities for these conversations that can be so life-giving. I so appreciate everyone's patience with my dear sweet twins. And I'm grateful to get to continue to work together. I'm looking forward to the cohort.
Great, great. Again, as Dr. Williams highlighted, go to our website, faithlearnthrive.org. You'll find additional information. Also go to our Facebook page also.
All right, everybody, we'll see you on April the 12th, 7 p.m. for part 1 of the second cohort.
Looking forward to it.
See you guys.
Y'all.